you know that inflation is disproportionately victimizing the poor. So you could only, I guess, conjecture that it would be directly contributing to homelessness more generally.
It's one of these things where basically the word, so there's a great 1 hour documentary called Seattle is Dying by Como News. I think it's a ABC affiliate. It's got millions of views. And one point they make is that even the term homeless is actually an incorrect term, because the vast majority of these folks are drug addicted and or mentally ill in a clinical sense, like diagnosed with a mental illness.
Right.
Because most people who have some economic problem, who I'm sympathetic to, and frankly, I'm even sympathetic in a sense to the drug addicts, so long as they're not, attacking you on the street, right? The people who just have economic issues with living in the city tend to just move out of the city and move to a much cheaper locale.
Right.
And yes, that's a huge part of the Fed boosting housing prices and so on. But the homeless problem is not a housing problem. It's an opioid problem. It's a drug and mental illness problem. And, this is something where a tricky thing for some small, not all, but some libertarians to think about is that some people can handle drugs and some people cannot. Okay. I mean, we actually sort of understand this with alcohol. There's some people who can hold their liquor and other people who really shouldn't drink very much because, either literally biologically they get red cheeks, or, they don't have the right alcohol dehydrogenase enzymes or what have you, or they get very violent or crazy. People have varying responses. That's called pharmacogenetics. There is a varying response to a drug like alcohol, a drug like heroin. So some people can handle drugs and some people can't. And some people can handle them in moderation, and some people get addicted and they break through moderation. And so the one size fits all, the very ideological policy may not make sense, where the libertarian is thinking, oh, well, I don't want harsh drugs laws because I can handle it. But obviously, there's a bunch of people on the streets who cannot.
Right.
And so, often, in fact, those people may want like a dry area or the equivalent of a drug-free area where society is sort of helping them maintain their willpower.
Right.
In the same way that people will sometimes, you'll get a buddy to be like, hey, dude, want to help me go and work out? I'm just feeling lazy today, right? The extension of that to the societal level is where the society is providing the public good to bolster that fallible human being who might, do drugs when they don't want to do them. Right. Instead, what the state is doing in San Francisco, it's like, here's free needles. Hey, go and shoot up on, the side of the bus. It's like the actual opposite. The collective is like pushing people into addiction and desperation. And the FDA has legalized opioids and let them through while blocking other good things. There's many different axes on which the state contributes to this. I completely agree with the one you mentioned with the Fed printing money and propping up housing prices, but that's only one of the drivers here.
Right.